Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Today I wanted to talk about the concept of a person's net value, like the net worth that somebody brings to the table. All of us, we have a different value to ourselves and what we bring and what our overall value is in terms of the hereafter. Some people, for example, we're worth one human being, right? We take care of ourselves, we take care of our obligations, and we fulfill our rights, and we fulfill the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and because of that, we're worth one human being. We're fulfilling the rights of one Muslim or one or whatever it is, right? And then some people they're not as fortunate, and they're at a level lower than that. They don't fulfill the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They do horrible things, and they're not good people. And because of that, because they don't fulfill the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, their net value worth of that human being is less than a human being. It's actually less than the animals. It's less than a dog, for example, right? So that is someone whose net worth is less than one person. But then there's other people whose net worth is more than one person, right? Their net worth is like two or three people, or four or five people because of the good actions that they do. For example, they teach their children to they raise their children in a righteous manner, and because of that the perk of those children will come back to the parent, and he will be rewarded for the actions of that of those children, and he will become worth two or three or four people or whatever, right? And so I wanted to talk about this concept. Like, let's look at Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu. He's worth way more than one person, obviously, because not only was he taking care of himself in terms of Islam, but because of him, so many other people in the community became Muslim because of him, and so many of their families became Muslims because of him. And so Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu will be rewarded, inshallah, for so many hundreds of people that became Muslim because of him, and then their families and generations that followed them that were Muslim because of him, right? Same thing with Umar radiallahu anhu. The land of Islam grew so much during the time of Umar that all those people that became Muslim because of Umar, uh, Umar was used as a tool for them to come to Islam by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Um, Umar would be rewarded for that. So much so that his net worth is worth hundreds or thousands of people that came to Islam through his actions. So I wanted to talk about this uh, in the present day setting. How can we make our net worth more than just one person or more than just half a person, and how can we benefit each other and others, right? I want to share hadith with you. It's where Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu reported the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when a man dies, his deeds come to an end except for three things: a sadaqa jariya, which is a continuous charity; a knowledge which is beneficial; and a virtuous descendant who prays for him, prays for the deceased. So let's talk about this. How can we make an effort to have this net worth always growing and always benefiting ourselves? Everyone has different potential, different advantages to themselves, different virtues, right? So, for example, someone is very good at calling people to Islam, like the imam, maybe the imam in your locality or something like that. He will call the people to Islam, and he will teach them, and he will teach them good things about Islam. He'll teach them to pray. He'll invite people to Islam. People become Muslim because as a result of his efforts, um, uh, and stuff like that. And because of this, he would build his net worth, right? But what about the layman? What about like someone like me or you who's not a full-time Islamic scholar or a caller to Islam, right? What can we do? So one thing we can do, and this is something that I would encourage the youth, people, I would say, between 15 and whatever up, to definitely take advantage of, is teaching at a Sunday school or something like that. Teaching at a Saturday school in your community. For example, if you teach, say, and this is really important for the people that grew up here. Like I grew up in West Virginia, right? I grew up in the U.S. I went to middle school, high school, undergrad, all here in the U.S. So I know the culture better than the generation before us. So um, if you grew up here, you can definitely relate to the youth at a much better level. So if you're doing Sunday school teaching for 5-year-olds, and you teach them Surah Al-Fatiha, every time that person will recite Surah Al-Fatiha for the rest of their life, inshallah, you will get a reward from it. And how many hundreds or thousands of times will that person recite Surah Al-Fatiha? We recite it 17 times a day, period, at minimum in our salah, right? Additionally, someone who, or you can teach someone how to pray. Someone becomes a new Muslim, they need someone to teach them how to pray, or you can mentor them, and because of that, you would get the reward of that person, everything that he does, because of the actions you do for them, right? And so your net worth becomes something like 2, right? Because you have the rewards for yourself as a Muslim and then the rewards for that person as a Muslim too, without their reward being diminished at all, right? So you're a Sunday school teacher or you're a Saturday school teacher, and you teach the children in your community, or like the kids that are 15 or 16 years old. You teach them basic Islam. You teach them basic Islam, and you make sure and you help them not get into the haram stuff. You help them, give them alternatives to going to prom. You help them, give them alternatives going to the club and stuff like that. So this is something that you could do to benefit your community and benefit yourself because of that, right? Other people, they might not want to teach Sunday school. Well, this is especially important for mothers. Mothers, your own children, they're a source for you to increase your own net worth. And husbands, your family is a source for you by providing from them, for providing education from them, providing halal income sources from them, so that they can have sustenance, so that they can learn, they can go to school. And inshallah, because of the value you put into your family, your net worth will also increase. And everyone else has different things that they're strong at. Some people, let's leave the Sunday school idea. We talked about that. I think you get you understand the point I'm trying to make, right? Like someone who for example, whoever the people that taught me how to read Quran. Now, whenever I read Quran, inshallah, they will get also rewarded for every letter that I read in the Quran because of the efforts that they put in, years ago to teach me how to read Quran. So let's move on. Someone say you don't have even you're shy to even do basic Sunday school teaching, and I encourage the youth to especially get into Sunday school teaching, because as a 15, 16-year-old person, if you're to anywhere like you're 40 years old, you should still be teaching Sunday school. You should be still involved with your community, with the youth in your community, because it is a great means to give back, inshallah, and a huge source of knowledge. And this is where we just went over the 3 things that your deeds come to an end, except for 3, and one was a knowledge which is beneficial, such as you're teaching someone, right? Another thing is, say you don't outside knowledge. What else can you do outside knowledge? Say you're a great website designer. You can help your masjid or your community or a project, an Islamic project in your community, benefit itself by producing an amazing website for it. So, and because of that, people would come to Islam where they gain knowledge, and because of that, you would get rewarded and your net worth would increase as well. What else is there? Through your work, whatever you do for work. Say you're a doctor or a nurse, inshallah, you save lives, and because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses you as a tool to save lives. And because of the lives you save, people live longer because of you being used as a tool. Even though people's lives is already, we already know, just that you're used as a tool for someone to live longer, and because of that, you would inshallah get the rewarded of the good deeds that they would do inshallah in that time, right? So this is also something. You work as a doctor or nurse, and you make sure you work hard at this. And we already went over being a parent, teaching your children to be righteous, and this would come under the 3rd thing, a virtuous descendant who prays for him or her. So that would be the 3rd thing of part of a deed that does not end even after we die. And let's talk about the first one now, a sadaqa jariya, a ceaseless charity. So for this, we can talk about let's talk about donating money first of all, right? So you can donate time first of all. Definitely donate time to a cause, donate time to a dawah organization or whatever, and then we can talk about donating money. So let's talk about donating money. There's many different things you can donate money to, and if you have if you have $1 or 2, that's something, right? Try to donate money, at least something. So you donate money to a masjid, and because of that, a masjid is built, and you partook in the building of that masjid. So anytime now when someone goes and prays in that masjid, you would get a share of that reward, right? Or or you donate money to build a school, and because of that, people learn at that school, and every amount of knowledge that goes on in that school, inshallah, you get a share reward for that. Or you build this is what I'm really a big fan of. Islamic Relief does this awesome stuff where they build water pumps overseas, right? And so say you build a water pump in like Africa or Pakistan or India or Bangladesh, or you build a water pump. You pay like a few $100s, whatever it is, for them to build a water pump in an area where they need water, right? And because of that, people drink water, and they'll come and drink water, and you get the reward for that. And then people would come and they do wudu from this water pump, and then they would go pray, and you would get the reward for their prayer because of that. And this water pump would be there for years and years and years and years and years. And how many hundreds of people would come every day to drink water from it, to do wudu from it? And because of that, inshallah, you would get a reward for that only for a few $100s or whatever, or however much it costs, really, right? So these are just different ideas of sadaqa jariya that you put forward, and because of that, it's residual. It's a residual ajr, it's a residual reward for you, inshallah. So these are just some thoughts that I wanted to throw out there, inshallah. I hope you benefited. Even if you're shy to, you don't have money or you don't have any major uh, you know, virtues that, like, you're not. I mean, you're not good at websites. You're not good at healthcare. You're not good at knowledge. Whatever. Everyone has something that they can do, right? Even something as simple as sharing something with another Muslim. Say, uh, for example, you hear this awesome Quran recitation and you like forward it to somebody on Facebook. You're like, hey, this is really cool. And inshallah, when they listen to it, that you would get rewarded too, inshallah, right? So always have the deed, the intention to benefit the Muslims around you, and try to make your net worth, inshallah, more than just one person, more than just two people. Maybe at least the size of your family, 4 or 5 people, and then increase it from there, inshallah. Hope you benefited. If you need to get in touch with me, you can always email me, yslam101@gmail.com. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum.